about to give them what they want.
Go Beastmode, dude.
I don't think they're ready for this, though. Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode.
What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. Chris Jones, representing Pump Chasers. You already know. Hey, you already know. You head on down to Tiger Fitness, tigerfitness.com, and get your Pump Chaser subs. Get your Pump and Grind pre-workout. Fam, first off, thank you to the supporters. Thank you to the loyal supporters. Get your Intra Pump Electrolytes with BCAAs. Stop playing games. Go ahead, head on down there right now. Get 30 minimum, all right? So, I want to talk a little bit. I know I'm a little late to the party. I had a busy weekend, fam. But the Olympia. I want to talk a little bit about the Olympia. Samson Dauda won, guys. And low key, Samson winning the Olympia has proved. Remember I told you in that Nick Walker video. Bodybuilding is a discipline. A legit discipline, a legit art form that is backed by all of the universal laws and principles. And the language of the universe is numbers. So our discipline is no different. It involves numbers. Just like building a house, which is backed by the universal laws. The architect gotta have the numbers lined up before you can even start building. Notice even dieting backed by the numbers. You can do the whole calorie thing, but you can dig a little deeper by going protein, carbs, and fats. And you can dig even a little deeper with mineral, vitamin intake. It's all numbers. Samson was coached by his wife. And I don't understand why this should be one of the biggest stories in the bodybuilding community. This literally proves it's all numbers. He was coached by his wife. He won the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, coached by his wife. Why? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to the numbers. If you have a fully functioning brain, you know how to observe and write down what you observe, things we learn in grade school, then you can be a coach. Some of the best coaches aren't even big, hulked up bodybuilders. Just look at Honey Rombard, right? Matter of fact, Chris Bumstead was coached by Honey. Phil Heath. The guy Samson beat, second place winner, Hottie, and third place winner, Derek. They're both coached by Hottie. Hottie's a high level coach. Does he look like a top level bodybuilder? No. But what Hottie does have, Hottie has years of experience. He's coached Jay Cutler. He's coached several people, and he has numbers. He has a formula to success. See, people don't pay for Honey. They pay for his knowledge. They pay for his formula to success. They pay for his experience. Notice in the book of Genesis, the Bible, although I'm not religious, has a lot of universal lessons. Notice the book of Genesis. There's not only a tree of knowledge, but there's also a tree of life. Life, actually being in the field, is where you get some of the best, crispiest numbers, where you can truly see energy in motion. So when you pay for these high-level coaches, you're not necessarily paying for them, you're paying for what they can do for you. And what they can do for you is based off their formula to success. If you peep the game, Samson has been bodybuilding for years, over a decade. He's worked with coaches. He's even worked with Milos. I believe his last coach was Milos. Now think about it like this. He's soaking up game. He lives in this body. He's been living in this body since birth. He already knows a lot of things about himself. What he needs is an other set of eyes on him. Who knows your body better than your wife? Who knows your body better than your wife? So them coming together as one. Them coming together, two heads working as one. If anybody, let me get this book real quick. All right, so check this out. This book is by a writer named Napoleon Hill. Okay, this book is called Think and Grow Rich. Now, what makes Napoleon Hill such a great writer is he would do lots of research, soak up game. Like, he'll study some of the most successful people to give you the common denominators. Because remember, math is the universal language. He will give you the common denominators to success so you can apply the shit. Like, cold writer. And he would use biblical principles. Anybody who's familiar with Napoleon Hill's work know what I'm talking about. Now, this book right here, Think and Grow Rich, chapter 10. You see that? Power of the Mastermind. Let me tell you here. Long story short, when two or more people come together for the same cause, for the same purpose, it's literally a cheat code. There's literally an invisible force that's going to help them and hold everything together, assuming they're working for the same cause. Notice Samson and his wife, two heads became one. When you really think about it, cooking, which is another art that's backed by the universal laws, the culinary arts. Remember, Leonardo da Vinci tells you, study the arts. Study the science of art, study the art of science, and understand and realize that everything is connected. Cooking, prepping in the kitchen is not too much different than prepping for a show. Notice prepping in the kitchen, you need ingredients. Prepping for a show, enhanced show, you need ingredients. Different kinds of ingredients, but still ingredients that you gotta bring together with certain measurements. Cooking in the kitchen, you need ounces of this, teaspoons of that. Prepping for a show, you need cc's of this, grams of that. Different ingredients, different units of measurement, but it's still taking ingredients and putting things together. But prepping for a show, in my opinion, and maybe I'm biased because I love bodybuilding, but prepping for a show is much more complex than prepping in the kitchen, because the shit doesn't just start and stop in the kitchen. It's a lifestyle. Now you gotta go to the gym. There's a certain amount of sets you need. You need 3 sets of this, 4 sets of that, this amount of reps of this. You need a specific amount of intensity. How much break between sets? How much cardio? There's numbers everywhere. How much sleep I'm gonna need? There's numbers everywhere. And guess what? There's a recipe to a successful prep. Samson and his wife clearly have came together using the mastermind. And they came together with a formula for success. A formula, they beat the odds. Do the numbers in your head. What are the odds of a bodybuilder prepping with his wife? The 2 people he beat were coached by Honey. And let's just say, if there's a Hall of Fame for coaches in the IFBB league, Honey is in it for sure. Beat 2 people. There were 2 ex-Olympias. Both those men won Olympias. They beat the odds together. And they did it taking what they already know. They took what they already know, took what they already learned from their experience in the field, from their experience working with other people, from their experience of what they learned on their own, and they built up from there, and they came up with a hell of a formula. And this is how you know they're confident in their formula. Samson competed literally 2 weeks before the Olympia. Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck competes 2 weeks before the Olympia? I tell you who does that. Somebody that's confident. And he's confident because he has a formula for success. He took off his shirt at the press conference. Who the fuck does that? I tell you who the fuck does that. Someone who has a formula for success. Someone confident in the numbers. You know what's funny, fam? When he won, the first thought that came to my mind, I was like, shit, he ain't got to pay no guru 40, 30, or 20% of his check. That check is going home to the family. That's going home to the mastermind. You feel me? That's going home to the Dauda family. The king and queen are bringing home the cheddar together. When I tell you this is such a great story. Again, I'm surprised this isn't like the biggest story going around right now. Taking home the cheddar together. Two heads becoming one. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, fam. I could talk about this shit for an hour straight, low key. Hopefully, Samson and his wife take this formula and perfect it. Although it's a great formula, although it's a winning formula, it's not perfect yet. What's gonna happen when somebody just as tall as Samson, just as big as Samson, but they're way more shredded? They're way more harder. They got deeper lines. They got more feathering. So although this formula is good, although this formula is the winning formula, is this the type of formula that's gonna make him a 3-time champ or a 6-time champ or an 8-time champ? You know? So we should never get comfortable. Take that formula and perfect it. He's already talking about, I think he committed to doing the Arnold. You know, does their formula make room for improvements? Does this formula give room to improve? That's what I want to know, and I'm gonna be staying tuned. Only time can tell. We'll see in the next 5 to 10 years what becomes of Samson. But regardless, he achieved something great that nobody can take from him. Him and his wife came together and beat the odds, and this is gonna be remembered for a very long time. Don't forget to like my shit, comment, subscribe, and buy 30 minimum, 30, please. Holla back at your boy.
Moment of silence before we fuck up these weights.